guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the Hollywood Collection by OPI for spring 2021. I got my set from HB Beauty Bar, so in the description box below I will link the OPI site and Instagram, I will link the HB Beauty Bar site and Instagram, and then I will link my Instagram where you can see more swatches of everything from today's video. So we have 12 polishes to look at today, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have I'm Really an Actress, and this is a cherry red with holographic flakes. So here's our first coat of I'm Really an Actress. This is nice and richly pigmented and absolutely loaded with those flakes. I didn't have any running, pooling, or staining, and I did get full opacity in 2 coats. This does dry down dull, so I would recommend top coat, but removal on this is easy. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Emmy, Have You Seen Oscar? And this is a Fire Engine Red Cream. Here's our first coat of Emmy, Have You Seen Oscar? This is super pigmented, nice and opaque in 1 coat. I am going to do 2 for consistency purposes, but OPI definitely has their red cream formula down. This does stain my cuticles, but not my nails, and removal's easy, so there's 2 coats. Up next we have Bee-hind The Scenes, and this is a pastel yellow cream. Here's our first coat of Bee-hind The Scenes. This one's pretty opaque here on this first coat, not totally even or totally opaque, so I am going to build it up actually in 3 coats today. Depending on your application, you might be able to get away with 2. This does dry down nice and glossy all on its own. Removal is going to be easy. I didn't have any cuticle or nail staining with this yellow. It is pigmented, but not that pigmented where you would have to worry about staining. So there's 3 coats. Up next we have Rated Pea-G, and this is a Kelly Green cream. Here's our first coat of Rated Pea-G. This one is also super opaque here on this first coat. Not completely a 1-coater, but I do feel like after a couple uses, 1 coat might be doable in this one's future. I did do 2 again for consistency purposes. It does dry nice and glossy all on its own, though I would recommend top coat for longevity. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Destined to be Legend, and this is a dusty cobalt blue cream. Here's our first coat of Destined to be a Legend. This one is very opaque here on this first coat, also not totally opaque or even though, so I am going to go in for 2 for full coverage today. Again, just like all of their other creams, this one's going to dry nice and glossy. I also feel like this is a pretty original color in OPI's collection, so there's 2 coats. Up next we have Oh You Sing, Dance, Act, and Produce, and this is a periwinkle cream. Here's our first coat of Oh You Sing, Dance, Act, and Produce. This is super opaque on this first coat, nice even application. Also, I'm doing 2 again just for full coverage on today's video, but I do think this one is another one that after a couple uses you might be able to get away with 1. Love, love, love this color. Probably my top pick of this collection. Beautiful 2-coat coverage. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Award for Best Nails goes to, and this is a navy blue cream. Here's our first coat of Award for Best Nails goes to. This one is more of a curly-ish finish. I do wish it was more jelly. By reading the descriptions, I thought this one would be a little bit more sheer. I'm doing 2 coats in my video today, and I thought it looked okay. I did do 3 for my photo, though, because it wasn't totally even, and this one will also dry glossy, so there's 2 coats. Up next we have 15 Minutes of Flame, and this is a pinky red shimmer. Here is 15 Minutes of Flame. This one is totally opaque in 1 coat, very smooth opaque application. I am doing 2 again just for consistency purposes. I didn't have any brush strokes through the shimmer when it was wet nor when it was dry, and this one does dry on the dull side, so I would recommend top coat. But there's 2 coats. Next up we have Movie Buff, and this is a super soft pastel pink leaning on the extreme white side. Here's our first coat of Movie Buff. This one is pretty opaque on the first coat, not totally opaque or even. I'm going to build this one up in 3 today. Depending on your application, you might be able to get away with 2, but I was wearing this one. This day I was applying my actual manicure, so I went in for as thin of coats as I could, so I did end up needing 3. Again, this one is going to dry nice and glossy, and I would recommend top coat just to keep your manicure lasting. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Hollywood and Vibe, and this is a bright kind of baby pink cream. Here's our first coat of Hollywood and Vibe. This one is also pretty opaque here on this first coat. I feel like OPI has really stepped up their game in the past couple years and made nice opaque polishes. Smooth, easy to work with formula per the usual of an OPI cream. I did get opacity in 2 coats. Depending on your application, you might want to go in for 3. And again, a nice glossy finish. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Suzi Calls the Paparazzi, and this is a dusty rose pink cream. Here's our first coat of Suzi Calls the Paparazzi. This one is super opaque here on this first coat. Almost a 1-coater, but not quite there. I am going to go in for 2 today for full coverage. Just like every other cream, it will dry nice and glossy, and I also haven't mentioned this yet, but OPI creams also have a really nice self-leveling property to them. So there is 2 coats. And lastly for today we have I'm an Extra, and this is a pink leaning nude cream. And here's our first coat of I'm an Extra. This one is also pretty opaque on the first coat, not totally, so I'm going in for 2. But again, a smooth formula to work with, no running, pooling, staining, or complaints on my end. I'd recommend top coat just to keep your manicure lasting as long as possible, but this does dry on the glossy side, and this one in particular does dry a little darker than when it's wet. So there's 2 coats. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up or if you already have, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.